Alright, we're back. Leaving the doctor's office. We're on the way home. We're going to stop and get something to eat. So I'm trying to think where I was at when I left off. The fun of hemochromatosis. Hema is blood. Chroma is metal. And tosis is too much of something. So too much metal in the blood is what it is. Getting pokey, stuck with a needle, whether you want to or not. Tons of fun. But on a positive note, you're doing a good deed. You can use the blood for other people that need it, except for people that have the same thing that I have. But the things that you deal with on a daily basis that nobody knows about, constant headaches, constant bone pain, joint pain, there's a lot of people with it. I was talking to the receptionist while I was waiting. She'd never even heard of it. She works in a medical facility. Never even heard of it. There's so many people that's clueless that's never even heard of hemochromatosis. Out of all the things, I never thought that, imagine that. But anyhow, so now I got all kinds of stuff lined up. They took blood out of my arm. Typical standard procedure. Got me a pokey in the butt lined up. A colonoscopy. Got to get that done. That's going to be amazing. Got to go get your liver and your organs checked periodically to make sure you don't have anything or developing anything. That's always fun because hemochromatosis really impacts your liver and your vital organs. The iron accumulates in your organs, so you got to go keep a close watch on that. And I'm not sure if I mentioned the sleepless nights. That's why you can go to sleep early and get a good night's sleep, or what you call a good night's sleep, and wake up every couple hours like you got rigor mortis in all your bones. I don't care. You can take sleeping medicine, whatever kind of medicine you want to make you go to sleep. You will wake up in severe pain. If any of you have ever watched Frankenstein, when that lightning hits him and he comes up off that table and he starts walking, that's about what it feels like. You wake up, I got to get up, my fingers are locked up. It's like snapping toothpicks when you crack them. You better bite down on a belt or something because it's that painful. I have to wake up and walk through the house for 5 or 10 minutes to limber back up so I can lay back down, go back to sleep for another few hours, and wake up and do it all again. It's amazing. If you've watched some of my other videos, you'll see a twitch. It's in my shoulder. You'll see me doing like that a lot. What that's from is the nerve damage that the hemochromatosis has caused, and I'll get little zapping pains in my shoulder sockets, and it causes me to twitch or make a weird movement. And I've tried really hard to hide it. Like, I deal with pain daily. My ankles, they're bone on bone. It's absolutely terrible. It sucks, but nobody wants to hear you complain all the time. They don't. So you learn to hide it. You learn to deal with it the best way you can, and just act like it doesn't exist. Whether you're good at it or not, your body knows it's hurting, and you're gonna make weird movements and stuff, twitches. And so I guess I've kind of developed a tick, I guess, that whenever I get a sharp pain, I won't say ow or oh. I'll just kind of do a weird twitchy movement. And I've also read up that the iron, it gets into everything in your body, every cell, every whatever molecule in your body, and it affects everything. Essentially what it does, the iron don't leave your body, it it's in your blood. Once your blood's too full, it pushes into your organs. Then your organs get too full. It gets in your joints. Once it goes in your bones and your joints, even after you go and give blood, phlebotomy, and get your levels back down, the iron never leaves your joints and bones. It's a one-way ticket. Once it goes in, it never comes back out. That's what the doctor told me. So any little thing I do, it's all throughout my body. I can feel it everywhere. If you take a whole lot of ibuprofen, it's temporary relief. It really helps out, but too much of that is bad for you. It's a double-edged sword. You can get temporary relief now, but you're going to cause yourself long-term pain or long-term damage. And I may have done that because the pain is terrible. And you can only deal with it for so long. It's like having a constant toothache that never goes away forever. It just, for never. So you deal with it the best way you can. You can't do anything else. At least at my job you can't. You just find the best way you can to deal with it and suffer through it. They're going to send me to a specialist to see if they can help out. Hopefully it will. They haven't done anything yet that's really helped me out, except for the donating the blood phlebotomies, but it's got my numbers down, but it hasn't taken the pain away. Like right now, it feels like when you take a dish rag and wring the water out, that's what my spine feels like right now. You just learn to deal with it. It weighs on you for sure. You know, you're walking around, you look healthy, you look normal, but you're hobbling and you're walking. And I've had old men look at me and say, "Boy, what's wrong with you?" I say, "Boy, you're too young to be walking around with a bad ankle. I'm 85 years old, man, and I'm fit as a fiddle." And I'm thinking in my mind, yeah, and I'm 45 and my body's full of arthritis and joint pain. But they say we don't get any more than we can carry on our shoulders, so I guess I can carry it. That's my bag, baby, and I'm gonna carry it. I'm on some Hemochromatosis like support groups. You can find a support group on anything. A turtle group. You can, whatever you think of, you name it, you look it up, they got a group for it. But people talk, compare stories, and try to help each other. And really, it's a lot of talk. I mean, there's some remedies on there, and you try it, and it helps. You try this, you try that. This works a little bit, that don't work at all. What works for one may not work for another. You just mess around and find out what you can get to help you. Some people has changed their entire lifestyles. Change what they eat, what they drink, what they do, what they don't do. Some people completely flip their lives around. They don't eat meat no more. They don't eat anything with iron in it. And until you dive in and look it up, everything on this planet has iron in it. The water you drink has iron in it. The dirt has iron in it. Red meat, packed with iron. Spinach, leafy greens, raw shellfish like oysters, packed with iron. So you can eliminate all that out of your life. All that has iron packed in it. You can change your diet and start eating like a bird. And I tried some of that. I tried eliminating whatever, red meat, and don't do this and do that. That drives you more crazy, at least me. And even after I did that, it didn't help. It didn't change anything. The pain is still there, the joint pain, all that stuff is still there. So I said, screw it. I'm going to live the way I want to live. I'm going to keep eating what I like to eat. I eat steak, shrimp, oysters, drink beer, whatever. The way I live is the way I'm going to continue to live. And my doctor told me, you can eat anything you want. It doesn't matter. The more you eat it, iron builds in your body slowly. But if you consume a lot of red meat and venison, deer, whatever, leafy greens, spinach, all that, all you have to do is go maybe one one extra time to donate blood. And if you got a fear of needles, after a while it goes away. Trust me. If I can overcome the fear of a needle, you can. I promise you. Now, I'll joke around. They know me well enough now because I've been going there so long. I'll say, go take your lunch break. Give me the needle. I'll do it myself. That's my way of being funny and saying, do what you got to do. I've tried all that stuff, and it didn't help me in no way, shape, or form. Now, if I quit eating all that stuff and changed my diet and my joint pain and all that went away, I'd probably do it. It would be worth it because the pain sucks. I've tried it, and it doesn't help me. Now, one thing that is terrible for me, and I notice it, I still eat it occasionally once in a while, rice or pasta, because it's super packed with folic acid. About 10 or 12 hours later, I am in severe pain. My joints, my hands, my feet, my back, everything, all my joints, shoulders, hurt like 5 times as worse. And I looked it up and had a friend tell me the reason that is because there's, I think it's called folic acid. And it's the stuff that's like gluten and all that stuff. Anything enriched white bread or whatever, it's got a lot of that. I believe it's called folic acid. And it causes inflammation. I know I'm in big trouble when I eat that. But other than that, I don't change what I eat. It doesn't change all that much stuff for me. So, but you may be different. If you caught it early enough, if you have what I have, if you caught it early enough, what the doctor told me was, oh, well, you just go get your numbers back and you'll be fine. You won't even know you have it. Well, unfortunately, I was a late case because my doctor kept telling me, you're fine. All your vitals are normal. After I went to the Lyme disease doctor and I found out what I had, I made one last appointment to go see that doctor. And when I walked in, he said, hey, how you doing? I made one last appointment with you to come and tell you, you were right. I was wrong. I do not or did not have Lyme disease. And he smiled, boy, he thought he was like, woohoo, he was the man. I said, but what I do have is hemochromatosis. Have you ever heard of it? And he looked at me and he goes, yeah, I've heard of it. I don't know a lot about it. I said, well, that's what I got. I went to a Lyme disease doctor and he found it. And he run my test results, my blood work 3 times to make sure that that's what it was, and it kept coming back. I said, all the years that I've been coming to see you, how did you not find it? And he shrugged his shoulders and he went, guess it was one of those things that just slipped by. At that moment, I could have took his head and put it all the way through the wall. All the way. Not halfway, all the way. And I got up and just walked straight on out the door and shut the door. Because of his ignorance, this is why I'm suffering the way I'm suffering. Can't do nothing about it now, I'm over it. But I'm also a big believer in you can make millions upon millions upon millions of dollars on treatments, but there's no money to be made in a cure. And I think a lot of the things that's out there among us, there's a cure for, but they're not going to give it to you because they need your business. They don't care. And I'm convinced of that. But one time the doctor, he asked me, he said, have you ever had any medical training? And I said, no, never went to med school, nothing like that. He goes, well, how can you sit there and diagnose yourself? I said, well, I'm not a car mechanic. But if I'm driving down the road and I got a flat tire and I pull into a service station, they come out and say, hey, sir, your car is finished. And I go back in there and my tire is flat, I'm like, I don't need to be a car mechanic to know it's my tire that's messed up. Point being is my body. I don't need to be a doctor. I don't need to go to med school in order to know that something's going on with my body. I may not know the exact medical term. So when I go in and a doctor looks at me and tells me, well, you've got this, you've got that. That don't sound right. I'm not a doctor, but I know I don't have that. The reason I say that is because throughout the years going to the doctor, every time I would go, I would leave and they would give me some kind of new medication. I would take it with me on my person. I would go home and I would Google it and read it, what it was and what it did and all the side effects. And I would say, nope, don't need this. Throw it right in the garbage. Wouldn't even take it. Not even one pill. I was smart enough to know that all those pills they was giving me was not for me. I knew they wasn't. And my wife even got to the point, well, shouldn't you be taking your medicine? Nope, it's not for me. I don't need that. That's not what I have. So she would get aggravated with me for a while. Well, you can't get better if you don't take the medicine. I just toss it in the trash. Here we are, fast forward years later. Turns out I was right. I didn't need all that medicine. I needed help, but I didn't need medicine. And you just have what you call an intuition, a gut feeling. You know if something's wrong with you. You might not know exactly what's wrong with you, but you get a pretty good idea. And you can look up online. They don't want you looking it up. That's exactly what the doctors do. They go in the other room, use a laptop. Back in the old days, they'd use a book, a WebMD book. Now they don't do that. They Google, search it, all your symptoms, what pops up. That's what they narrow it down to. That's how they treat you. Yeah, there's so much to this stuff, and when you look it up and study it, there's a little information on it, but just not enough. That's why I'm making this video. It's not to diagnose anybody, but if you go to the doctor, if you look up something online and you think you might have Lyme disease, you could. There's a likelihood that you might. But if you go get tested for Lyme disease and you don't have that and you still continue to get worse, there's a good chance you might have hemochromatosis. A lot of people with hemochromatosis ends up going to Lyme disease doctors only to discover that they have hemochromatosis. It's just something to keep in mind, that it's worth getting checked out, because a lot of people have it and a lot of people don't know it, and they suffer for a lifetime. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I'm sure it'll come to me, and I'll make another little video on it. So I'm getting ready to end this part of the video. Thank you guys for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Come back and see me again. Glad you all got to see me again. I'll talk to you guys later. See you. I'm not a doctor, I just play one on TV. Another weird thing is Ernest Hemingway, the famous writer. They thought that he was just an insane, psychotic, crazy drunk, and he killed himself. Several people in his family, I think it was ended up like 5 or 6 of them, they all committed suicide and they were all crazy. Well, the truth is they didn't find out until 100 years later, when they, I guess, dug them up and run their DNA. However they done it, I don't know. They all had hemochromatosis, every one of them. And it went untreated. And what it does, the iron gets in the old noggin up here, and it causes you to go insane. And you're in such pain that you end up checking yourself out, so to speak. So he wasn't really crazy. It was hemochromatosis. Ernest Hemingway. Him and 4, 5, 6 of them. It was a bunch of them. It was enough of them to get everybody's attention. Some more FYI for them.